Yes, we're having a virtual meetup. How wonderful is this weather? And how wonderful is the bird song? You know, you can wander along a place like this, on the outskirts of a big town, there's traffic rumbling by, and just listening to the birds and watching the sunrise just kind of gives you a wash, makes you feel clean and relaxed. Or is that just me? So yes, our virtual meetup. We couldn't have a meetup in person for obvious reasons. However, at this time, I've got Mr. Mark Boadey out at Merseyside on his daily exercise. Good morning, Mark. How are you? I trust I find you well. I'm having a good sunrise. Bit of a strange time, but we make do amend. Now, as you know, Mr. Boadey, we do tend to talk a lot of rubbish on these meets. And today is going to be no different. So I've got a few questions for you. Are you ready? If you could spend a day with any photographer, past or present, who would you choose and why?
That's a tough question, that, because there's been so many amazing photographers in the past, and there's some amazing photographers that live in the present. Someone like, kind of like to spend a day with Sean Tucker. It just seems a nice guy, but that's not my choice. That's just one person. I think that's maybe a bit of a cliche, but I think the person I'd probably would like to spend a day with is Ansel Adams. More because of late I've picked up using film, 35mm film, and he used film. It wasn't digital, and it was all black and white. So in colour, you have the benefit of seeing the scene with the colour. When you've got a beautiful sunrise, you get all them colours. But when you're shooting in black and white, well, you don't see that. So you're having to look at the light, the way the light lands on the scene, the way it lights the scene. So I think you need a different mindset when you shoot in black and white, and particularly maybe with large format like he shot. I think it'd be interesting to see his process, the way he assesses a scene, the way he composes the scene, what time of the day he thinks is the best time of the day. Yeah, I think Ansel Adams would be a good choice for any particular, for those landscape photographers. Although there has been many more amazing landscape photographers out there, I think a few people might consider Ansel Adams as the first one, the first famous one maybe. But yeah, I think Ansel Adams is a good choice, just to see his process, see how he went about setting up his shots, using these massive large cameras. Amazing stuff, and we're lucky with little point and shoots and phones these days.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that one. Good choice, Mr. Boadey. I know you shoot landscape, and I know you have, or you do, dabble in portraiture. The light has gone pretty funny again. If you could choose another genre of photography, any genre in the world, what would you choose? And you can't choose landscapes or portraiture. So yes, if you didn't do landscape, what other genre would you like to dabble in and why?
Been thinking lately, fine art, architectural photography. Watching a couple of tutorials on YouTube the other day of this guy that was doing it. Now he had the fancy kit with the tilt shift lens and stuff, and I ain't got any of that. But he was doing black and white fine art, architectural photography, and it was brilliant. I thought, I've got to try that. I mean, obviously you've got to get the right subject. It can't be just a picture of a regular house. Well, I suppose it could if you're going to practice, but yeah, fine art, black and white, fine art photography of architectural stuff. I'd love to get my hands on a tilt shift lens. Fuji don't make a tilt shift lens, so I can't hire one. But yeah, fine art, architectural photography. Something about that just appeals. It's probably the shape of the building, geometric shapes and hard shapes, squares, triangles, stuff like that. So yeah, I think architectural, I'm going to mush that up, architectural landscape photography. Now I don't know of any famous fine art photographers that do architectural stuff. That's a little bit of research that I need to do. There might be some books out there I can pick up. This motorway is really noisy, but... So yeah, I think that'll do me.
Mark, we'll have to have a go at that genre of photography. I'm sure you'll be excellent at it, as you are with all your photography. And finally, if you could go back in time, as I'm sure we all wish we could sometimes, to the start of your photographic journey, what piece of advice would you give your younger self? It needs to be to do with photography.
It's quite a bit, actually. A lot of the stuff that, as you've been doing it for years, you realise it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's things like who you're shooting for, who you're trying to please. You're pleasing yourself, or you're trying to please other photographers and stuff like that. But that's not my answer. My answer is, I could go back in time and I'd say to myself, tidy yourself up, you scruffy sod. But yeah, I think I would tell myself, don't worry about the equipment. The gear really doesn't matter. It's the idiot that's behind the camera that makes all the difference in the world. Don't worry about the gear, don't worry about getting the next best thing. I suffered from that when in the early days, really quite badly. Got myself into some debt buying this stuff. I never really used it. It was a waste of money. Ended up selling it all. You don't need one camera, one lens to start, learn the craft, and then start looking at getting equipment that you think will benefit you. Not because you think it's nice and shiny and new, but because it's going to benefit you. Like I mentioned in the previous answer about architectural photography, the tilt shift lens would actually be spot on, but do you need it? No, not really. You can correct all that kind of stuff, merging verticals and stuff like that in post-production. So yeah, I would tell myself, wake yourself up, hit yourself a camera, one lens, don't worry about the equipment, go out there and just shoot. Shoot the living daylights out of it.
That's some good advice there, Mark. I shall add that to my list of advice I'll give to my younger self. Thanks ever so much for joining me, Mark. And we'll hopefully catch up again fairly soon in person on a meet. Take care and stay safe. Bye. Good morning, Mr. Andrew. Glad you could join us. Hope you're getting a decent sunrise. As I said, we tend to chat rubbish on these meets that we have, and today's no exception to that. So a few questions for you, Mr. Sheader. Which photographer, past or present, would you like most to spend a day with, and why? I have a feeling I know your answer to this one, but fire away.
It would of course be you, even more so at this time. Genuine answer, but I suspect that's not the one you're looking for. Well, a difficult one, because I am obsessive with regards to photography. I've read hundreds and hundreds of hours of books and watched hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos, right from Henry Fox Talbot, Vivian Mayer, Ansel Adams of course, but it's not a time for name dropping. It would have to be, without a doubt, Michael Kenner. I simply adore his minimal black and white photographs. There you go, and he's a very affable chap as well, very calm, collected. Yeah, that would be my day.
Yes, I figured he would be your answer. Because I know you, you don't stop talking about him. This could be a good one for you. For your younger self, if you could go back in time to when you first started photography, what piece of advice would you give yourself? It's not going to be take up golf.
Take up origami, I think, because photography is expensive. Which leads me on to my proper answer, and that would be that, broadly speaking, kit means shit. It's that simple. apart from a few specific circumstances. That's when you need a camera good in low light, or you need a camera for photographing fast moving objects. I don't think my photography's improved since I had my D3000. I've improved compositionally, and I know a decent photograph now and again, but I could have done that with my old D3000 that I got many moons ago. So that's it. Don't spend your money on gear. Spend your money on travelling. Spend your money on a few training courses when you first start out, because you will learn so much by even a few hours with a professional or a competent amateur that will save you a lot of pain along the way.
Nice one, Andy. I shall add that to my list of things to tell myself when I go back in town with my little time machine. And finally, I know you do landscapes. We all know you do landscapes. I know you've dabbled in portraiture. If you could pick any other genre of photography to take part in, what would it be and why?
That's an interesting question, Lynn. Now, I've actually done quite a lot of different kinds of photography. Macro, black and white, portrait, off-camera flash, light painting. I even did 2 weddings once, one for a friend and one for my daughter. Never again, ever. Awful. Way too stressful for me. But if I had to choose, which I do, it would have to be drone photography. Specifically shooting down. It will be minimal abstract drone photography, not the panoramas that you see on the internet. Photographs looking down. Now I see images now again when I search around Google Earth, and one thing I see now and again is little rivulets running into the sea, and the patterns they create are almost like arteries in the body. Really do fancy taking some of that kind of photography. I've resisted the temptation of buying a drone. I guess I don't need one.
Thank you, Andy, for joining us. It's been lovely to talk to you. Hopefully next time we'll be able to meet up in person, the 3 of us. Because this is going on a bit now, and we need to get out to the coast or to a mountain or to somewhere. Thank you very much for watching, guys and girls. I hope you enjoyed it. I shall pop up some more pictures that I've taken on this little wander around this morning. There might be the odd 1 or 2 dandelion hawks, maybe. And I'll see you again next weekend. Bye for now.